Ladies and gentlemen, do I have a treat for you? My next guest, Eric Glass, lost 250 pounds. Now, there's a ton of questions we're going to run through: how he did it, what caused him to get there, what was the change in mindset. But I'd rather you just hear it from him. Eric, introduce yourself.
Hi, my name is Eric Glass. I'm a former fat person, as I like to say. I went from obese to sleek and fit. I think people think it's more amazing than it really is. It's really only here between the ears, and once you can solve some of those problems, you can kind of get there. So, for me, I was always a big kid. You play sports, it's one thing, right? You're exercising, you're constantly moving. So being big is one thing. You keep the weight off, especially at a younger age. By the time I got out of high school and I started progressing, I just got heavier and heavier. And I was always a big person, but never really big. But by the time I was my late 20s, early 30s, I was pushing 400 pounds plus. You never really know how much you weigh, because ultimately when you stand on the scale at that weight, it doesn't tell you anything. This goes error, right? It says error, right?
So I guess the question I want to ask is, did you just wake up and realize you got that heavy overnight, or and it wasn't particularly overnight per se, but when was I have a problem?
I think the combination of things, I guess technically I've always had the problem. Like my mom, I would always get things from girls like, oh, because I'm a talkative person, right? Meet people, always had friends, and girls like, wow, you're cute. If only you were thinner, right? I get a lot of that. But, whatever, I didn't have problems getting girlfriends and things like that. But, my mom would say something to me is like, oh, you should really try to be healthier and things like that. And then, I worked in the restaurant business, and just standing on your feet all day just got harder and harder. And as I got heavier and heavier, and I started sweating like an uncontrollable amount, like I would leave work and I'm like I just got out of the shower. And it was just crazy. And the inspiration for me was a girl by the name of Kelly. I remember when I was working with her, she was a chubby girl, good looking girl. I didn't think much of it. And then I just remember one day, all of a sudden I was like, wow, you look amazing. Like, what did you do? She wasn't just smaller. She was in shape and fit. And then she introduced me to Derek. And Derek is the person who I still use to this day. And Derek is a PhD in physiology. He worked in the NFL. He works for the military. He's all this great background and super knowledgeable. His jam is the human body and how chemicals and food work in the body. So I started learning about food addiction. I started learning about how these foods that I'm eating did nothing but make me want to eat more of it, and did nothing but make me bigger.
The palatability, in other words. Okay. What was the biggest lesson I think you learned? Give me the top three.
I learned that your fat cells you're born with a certain amount of fat cells, and they just get bigger and bigger and bigger. And what makes them bigger is inflammation, drugs, toxins in food, you name it. Anything you've consumed in your body, the fat cell actually absorbs it, and that's kind of what makes you bigger.
Right.
I always thought exercise, you turn fat into muscle. Nope, it just gets smaller. And then when you start to lose weight, all those toxins are going into your body. So remember when I first started losing all this weight, I remember getting my mouth would get a nasty taste. I smelled kind of weird. And Derek was like, well, those are the toxins leaving your body. And then I also learned things like blueberries and raspberries and broccoli and certain vegetables were neurotoxin and toxic dumpers out of the body. So I started learning to detox my body through food.
Okay. Did you do blood work back then? How the blood work change?
No.
Like that? No.
Strangely enough, though, even at my heaviest and going to get a physical, I was always super healthy. I was just, doctors there's nothing wrong with you. You're just fat, right? I wasn't pre-diabetic at 400 pounds. When they looked at my EKG, that's picture perfect EKG. All my blood work was fine. I think everybody's probably vitamin D deficient. I was vitamin D deficient.
Right, okay.
Things like that. Things that were, my testosterone was high. Still to this day, testosterone higher than it should be for someone my age, and things like that.
Do you think, okay, so a lot of times, heavier people will take, even if they take exogenous testosterone, they will aromatize it pretty quickly because of the size of the fat cells. Also the toxins within the fat cells. So it doesn't really get into the bloodstream, or it converts to estrogen at that particular time. Do you think that improved to this point based on that?
I think as your body gets more efficient, you start using the things you put in your body better. That's the other thing I learned.
The ingredients.
Yes. Other thing I learned is that anybody with a 30% body fat or more, your body doesn't recognize food anymore. It doesn't know what it is. It doesn't know what it's consuming. The enzymes aren't doing anything correctly, and your body's a mess. I mean, you can eat one slice of pizza and your body thinks you just ate a whole pizza.
Right.
You know, and things that don't digest correctly. So, you know, people, I feel bad for people on Ozempic because, yeah, man, you look amazing. Yeah, you're thinner, but you kind of have gaunt. You don't look healthy. And part of it is that you're not eating enough nutrients, and you're just now a thin fat person. You're a fat person in a thin body.
It's funny. I had a gentleman on to discuss peptides recently, and he went into GL1, GL2, and GL3. And one of the issues when we talked about Ozempic face and things like this is, and I actually had this with a wellness director recently on a podcast too, where we talked about that's a nutrient deficiency. You should have learned the skills to improve nutritionally, right? So we ate a lot of shitty food, which had a little bit of nutrition in it, right?
Yeah.
But a ton of calories, okay? And then we cut the shitty food in half. So now we have a lot less micronutrition to go along with it. Therefore, you end up with Ozempic face, and you almost look like, for lack of a better term, a zombie.
Yeah, and you still have 30% body fat percentage. So even if as soon as you come off it, you start eating food again, your body's like, well, I don't know what any of this is. What's happening in my body? And you just get fat again because you didn't fix the problem. We talked earlier before we started rolling cameras about the root of the problem. And the root of the problem is that when you fix your body fat percentage and get it to a normal amount, your caloric intake for the day can go up as well. But when you start to crash fad diet, so let's say your BMR was 2,000 calories and then you crash diet, and then you get back to that weight, your BMR is actually lower than it was when you first started. So now you're back to eating the same calories and you're getting heavier. It's like a road. It's terrible.
We had asked this question. I always say this all the time. If you're 10 pounds overweight, you let yourself go. Maybe if you're 20 pounds overweight, you want to convince me, you let yourself go. If we're 60 plus pounds overweight, we're self-medicating. Is there an issue or anything you were self-medicating for?
I don't know. I like to eat. I still do. I mean, I'm a fatty at heart. You know, I think I always be, you know, like they say an alcoholic is an alcoholic always. I will always be that person that wants to eat the whole pizza. Mentally, I can't. I won't. But I'm just saying, but I always want to be that person to go and I want to try that. And I want to taste this. And I want to look at the menu. I'm like, I want to order all of that. That's always going to be me.
Was it a feel thing or was it just,
I don't know. I guess I'm a happy-go-lucky person.
Okay.
I've never really looked at my life as woe is me, kind of not that. I'm just not that person. But I think as you get hungry, you know, like, and especially for me working so late, like you get out of work at 1 o'clock in the morning,
right.
McDonald's, Subway, you know, things that are open aren't the healthiest choices for you per se. So now, right, I don't go anywhere without my phone. I get made fun of, right? We'll go out to eat. They're eating. I'm eating an apple. Okay. You know, I bring my food with me everywhere. If I know I'm going to be gone all day, I got a little lunch box, and it's got my lunch, it's got my dinner, it's got my snacks. I don't eat anything I don't make myself. No, it's a little extreme because my goal is to have, I want to be a golden god, right? I want to be the guy who takes his shirt off and you go, damn, that guy works out. Like, I was always looking off my shirt, like, guy, put that back on. Right? I want to be that.
How do you go against the norm? Because they'll tell you that's not fun.
You know what it is, and it's funny because I tend to be a sensitive person. I try not to be a happy-go-lucky person, but like sometimes it's like, you know, people will say something like, "Oh, Eric's just going to bring an apple," and sometimes it gets to me. I won't lie, but I watch Ryan Fischler a lot. If you know him, he's a great follow, and he said something that really resonates with me. And he goes, "If other people make comments or complain about it, you're doing something right. Because if you're doing something that's so much far beyond what anybody else is willing to do, they're going to make comments this naturally. So that's how I knew I was doing it right." So, yeah, I mean, it is what it is.
Do you think that's because it's a judgment on themselves? In other words, you're doing things to excel. And every time you do things to excel, which are outside the norm for you, people start to question themselves?
I think people are happy for you to a point until maybe you're doing better than them. Yes, I don't want to say that's for everybody. You know, everybody has their own. I don't look at somebody going, man, I wish I had that. It's just, once again, not the kind of person I am. So I just wanted to be, you know what it is? I wanted to feel better. I got tired of being fat. I'm 50 years old and I feel like I'm 20 something. And that's the difference. That's what motivates me. Kate Moss says, nothing tastes better than being skinny.
Yeah, I heard that. Yes.
Yeah. And that's kind of how I feel. But I want to change it a little bit. Dana White says, nothing tastes better than feeling great. and I feel great. And why would I not want to feel any other way?
Yeah, I've also heard him talk about he was a foodie and all these things in front of him, and watching the family still eat it, but it's not for him because he feels great.
Yeah, he found Gary Brecka. He does all the blood work and all that stuff. He found all the deficiencies, and I mean, you see what Dana White looks like. It's plain as day.
I would agree. Yeah, he looks amazing lately.
Looks amazing.
Right. Also, his energy level, the passion is back.
Yeah,
you could
the
feel
fire.
You could feel it. Yeah. For you, quality of life changes that made you arrive at that point.
Like I said, I was working, I was sweating. I just didn't feel good. And you got people commenting about your weight, or commenting about your sweating, and at some point it's just like, there's got to be a better way. I just wanted to be healthier, and I had tried so many things and it just didn't work. And matter of fact, when I originally lost all that weight, it didn't work because I didn't fix the root problem. I went from 400 plus pounds, as you know, to about 250. And I was happy and content at that point, but I hadn't reached my goal. My body fat percentage wasn't low enough, but I was happy to be a normal weight. And then slowly the frog in the water thing happens again. And I went from 250 all the way back up to 390 pounds.
See, most of the audience has had some kind of yo-yo in their life.
That's a huge yo-yo.
Yes, I would agree. I'm sorry, forgive me. But what makes you jump off the wagon and then jump back on again?
Just like same things. I was working. I worked for Capital Grille for over 10 years. I was let go for a silly reason. I had to so now I'm looking for new work. I ended up in Colorado growing marijuana of all things.
Wow.
And I'm just in the same thing. There's no real routine or anything like that. I wouldn't say really what changed for me was being married. My wife is the rock for me, as I am for her, right? We both are going through this journey together. I was about 270 pounds at this point. When I met her, I was 300 plus pounds.
Right.
And together we slowly lost some weight, but we're just kind of doing what you see, the regular stuff that you think you're supposed to do.
Now, let me ask this. Was she heavy?
Yes.
She was?
Yes.
Did she make changes as well?
I'll explain. At some point, we did Jenny Craig together.
Okay.
We did our Nutrisystem together.
Okay.
And that got me to a decent weight. And now she's struggling. It's not working. She took Monjaro. It's not working.
Before you do that, what were the benefits of Jenny Craig to you, and what were the pitfalls?
I liked how easy it was, meaning that for me, it's just like, okay, eat this, eat that, eat this then. I'm like, okay, I'm used to that, right?
Okay.
Being per Derek, because when I introduced her to Derek's diet initially, this is too extreme, it's crazy, I don't want to do that. So I was like, well, I'll do, because she was struggling, I'm like, well, I'll do it with you.
Okay.
Right, let's do it together.
Right.
So we did Nutrisystem together, and I liked how easy it was, and I initially, because I'm healthy. She's got some metabolic issues. I'm losing weight, and hers is really slow. And then at some point, she's decided to take Monjaro, and that kind of works initially, and then it stops. And now I'm thinking to myself, I see my wife struggling, and I'm like, man, I wonder if Derek is still doing this. And I reach out to his wife, and it turns out that he is. So I guess a little over a year ago, we start with Derek again, and now she starts seeing what I saw originally, and that is like how she started losing weight, where she was losing weight where she never lost weight before. She looks amazing. Like, she lost weight in the places that she wasn't losing before. She feels amazing, the energy level, all those things like that. And I'm now at a point where I'm not looking to lose any more weight. I actually want to get bigger, right? I want to go the other direction.
Right,
so,
talking about
right, yeah, I want to be muscular. Yeah.
Tell me, joint pains?
None.
Inflammation?
None. Well, maybe I still have some inflammation, but
prior.
Oh yeah, lower back pain, knee pain, mid back pain. I wasn't say it was constant. I wasn't say I was in constant pain, but yeah, just from being that heavy and carrying it around, there is pain.
Not that I'm sure you can answer for her, but for her.
Oh, she would tell you the same.
Yeah. Okay. My question becomes: do you think it was the weight loss, or you think it was the inflammation?
I think it's a combination of both. I think if you naturally just put down a 100-pound weight that you're carrying around, you're going to feel better.
Yeah, I would agree.
But now the body starts to going, oh, all right, this is what it starts to normalize itself, because it's not running at optimal speed. Anything it does, everything's going crazy. Things aren't working. Food's not digesting. Chemistry in the body's all off. So when those things start to get more in line, and now, oh, that's an apple. Oh, that's a blueberry. Oh, that's chicken. And you're not complicated food. You're not consuming things that have 100 ingredients, and you're eating whole foods. That's a chicken. That's a blueberry. That's this, and the body goes, oh, okay, I know what that is. And now you start to naturally feel better all over.
Assimilate. Yeah. On a side note, the legendary orthopedist, Dr. James Andrews, gave a lecture once in front of Mama, and I remember him saying, for every pound you're overweight is 4 pounds of force on the knee joint. So if you think about it compelling like that, it really is almost 100 pounds of force easy.
And that's also one of the things that you asked me, what was my motivating factor? So my dad died at a very young age. Now, granted, he wasn't healthy. He was overweight, but he had COPD and he had issues that, fine, I get those things necessarily can't be cured with food, but had he been lighter, had he just had a healthier lifestyle, he would still be alive. 100% I would agree that he'd still be alive.
Well, why do you think some of them couldn't, or at least, wouldn't have been improved with food?
Oh, I mean, there's only so much lung capacity you can gain.
Okay.
But by being thinner, he would have been able to breathe easier.
Right.
He would have been able to move easier.
You're right.
So those things like that. So I realized that, man, when I get to be 68, 70 years old or older, I'm like, I don't want a walker. I don't want a wheelchair. I want to be active. I want to be able to hike. I want to be able to do all these things. And I started seeing, I started seeing videos of like these 80-year-old men that are Jack LaLanne type people.
Oh, 88 years old.
Yeah, still lifting weights.
88 push-ups, yeah.
And I'm like, that's what I want. But finding the root of the problem was my addiction to food and the wrong types of food. So as soon as I started learning that, when my mindset changed and I started liking the foods that I like now, just ground beef, grilled chicken, vegetables, fruits, things that I kind of like, but I really like it now. Things started shifting.
It's funny when you start to feel good how certain things start to taste to you.
Yeah.
Right? There's another thing, and I really appreciate is at 50, you're still looking to excel and do more.
Yeah, I have not reached my optimalness yet.
You have a ton of people, and I'll see clients all the time at 40, and it's very funny to me. They're really telling me about the high school days and the this and the that.
You think it's past? It's gone.
Yo, you're still alive.
Yeah.
Life's over now? It kind of goes back, and I always utilize the line in the Drake song, everybody dies, but not everybody lives. You're not really looking to optimize what's in front of you and the opportunities in front of you. You're not really thankful and gracious and grounded enough to feel for those opportunities. I guess, tell me about the next stage and goals, because I'd really like to hear about that.
Sure. So it's funny because I'm on these Facebook groups of people that are over 50 years old, and they're trying to get better. They're trying to look better, and I see these pictures, guys 60, set jacked. Right. I'm talking like I know 20-year-olds that don't look this good, and that is really kind of. At first, my goal was I just wanted to feel better. Then I wanted to look better, and now I'm like, well, I have all this extra skin, so I'm going to have that removed. Now maybe I can start to see some of the results of that. And after that, I really just want to be strong. I want to be muscular. I want to have a physique, right? I want to be. It's funny, when you're 400 pounds, there's something when you walk into a room at 6'3", 400 something pounds, people are like, shit, I know I'll screw with that guy. So I kind of missed that a little bit.
The intimidation factor.
The intimidation factor. So now, granted,
we'll call it a respect factor.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Yeah.
But I kind of want that. So, I weigh 200 pounds now. I want to weigh closer to 225. I want to be muscular. And that's not really intimidating, but I want to wear a medium. Right?
Got you.
Yeah. Something along those lines. I want to show off my physique more. I want to feel confident in my body where I've never felt that way before. I feel it now, but the extra skin keeps that. So I know once the extra skin is off, I'm going to look at myself going, yeah, you're not there yet. You're close. I feel like I'm close. Like I can see abs. I can see, I have vascularity in my arms. I have, I have chest muscles, things like that. But now it's like, all right, let's go to the next level.
Now, I guess my next question, do you have macros? Do you have a calorie system? Do you weigh your food? Do you portion anything?
Yeah.
How does this work for you?
So I don't weigh, I only weigh my proteins. I don't weigh I'll give you an example. So I still see Derek. Derek's like, okay, so on Monday, I want you to have cream of rice with 3 strawberries, 10 blueberries. So he's kind of giving me that information. He's doing all the math for me. Okay. I like being told, eat this. And I told my wife, when we stop seeing Derek, I'm like, we still got to make the menu like this every week. Because I like being able to go, okay, Monday's this, Tuesday's this, Wednesday's this. It's nice to be able to plan it out. So I'll weigh my protein 5-6 ounces. You eat as much veg as you want because, you need the veg for the toxin. And carbs, I mean, if you eat a little bit more or a little bit less, he's like a medium-sized sweet potato. I'm not weighing it out per se, but I have a little container, and I don't exceed the container size.
I had an entrepreneur on the show, one of the businesses being health space, a week ago, and the one thing she pointed out was decision overload. She has her staff wear a certain color code. She wants the girls to be a little more feminine, so she did pink with yellow, with this, with that on certain days. And we went into the Steve Jobs decision overload making, right? He used to wear the same clothes 6 times.
Right.
Right. Give me the same suit, the same shirt, the same slacks. I'm gonna run in with that. Right? With the same sports coat, obviously. And do you feel like that really helps the decision overload for you?
I like that. So my wife needs, my wife needs variety. If you told me to eat chicken and rice every day, okay, I'll eat chicken and rice every day. I mean, I like variety. I mean, all this week is all, to give you an example, I've only eaten tuna and ground beef all week with a sweet potato or white potato and broccoli as my vegetable, right? And then my fruits kind of rotate. But like, that's basically it all week long. I don't mind.
Can I be honest? I could have steak and rice or steak and broccoli every day. And yes, I've been in relationships with people where it's the most annoying thing in the world. What do you want to eat? What do you want to eat?
Yeah.
Right? But it's even more than what do you want to eat, right? I would eat the same fucking thing, to be honest with you. And they're looking and they won't. So why are you asking me that you're the one who wants to eat? You're looking for ideas, or you want me to tell you what to eat? Like,
right.
And how that works. And they don't want to eat the same thing every day because I could just put it out there every day. To me, good food is good food.
Yeah.
To other people, it's no, I need the variety.
Well, once again, we go back to this thing, like nothing feels better, tastes better than the way you feel. So if I feel this good just eating this over and over and over again, okay, I'll eat it over and over and over again. Look, I like variety. I'm not a boring person. Like, I'm a foodie at heart. I'll eat everything on the menu. There's nothing you put in front of me other than maybe salmon that I won't eat.
Right. Well, you don't like salmon, then probably that's why. No, I can understand that. There's a psychological test. It's called the Braverman test. And I believe it or not, I've used it in training because I saw other people. There was an elite trainer passed recently, a couple years ago, and was running a Braverman test to see if you were dopamine dominant or acetylcholine dominant. And what he would do was, after running the Braverman test, he would decide which one you were, and he could keep you on the same program for 12 weeks with, we just had 5 more pounds at a bar, so some sort of progressive overload, or we had another rep every week, right? And you get great success with the acetylcholine dominant crowd. But the dopamine dominant crowd, man, we needed a variety every 2 weeks. Otherwise, they were going to lose their fucking mind.
Yeah.
And you start to realize it's the same application to food.
Yeah.
With those particular people. They need a different hit every time. Explain to me, now, you talked about, what was your exercise regimen like during those time periods?
So it's funny, Derek was like, when I was at my heaviest, he was like, when I'm like, should I work out? Should I exercise? He was like, no. You don't need exercise, because what happens is people, it's a misnomer. People think that I have to lift and do all this cardio and then they're starving themselves, and all they're really doing is putting their body in a catabolic state. So all the hard work they're doing, it's actually working the opposite. It's creating inflammation and cortisol, and it's not doing what you think it's doing. What it's actually doing is working against you. So he was like, look, just get your body to a good baseline. And I started learning to get it lower and lower. By the time I saw him the second time I workout, I was already kind of working out, because mentally, you need that stimulus as well. But I wasn't trying to grow per se. I was just I wanted to be in the gym. I wanted to keep at 50, I wanted to keep my muscle preservation, my bone density, and things like that.
Okay. To me, that's your longevity or at the top. But before I comment on the other part, let me ask this. So a lot of times people do cardio, right? And they'll overdo the cardio.
Yeah.
I think that's really what's losing the weight.
Right.
And what they're actually creating is a greater level of hunger because of the cortisol response.
Yeah.
Right. They also think, well, I can go 20 minutes at this. Okay. And then I'll go 22 the next time. And you'd be doing 10 hours of cardio all day long. How's this going to work? Like, this is not. Okay. What they're not understanding is some of that stuff sometimes it's not sustainable.
Right.
I think resistance training first to preserve muscle.
Yep.
But I think we talked about longevity organ, but it's overall health, body control, everything else that goes along with that.
Yep.
I want to be able to stand up out of this chair. I want to be able to get up my ass off the toilet.
Correct.
I want to be able to roll out of bed, right? Okay. I want to grab both the grocery bags so my wife doesn't need to grab it,
right,
and get the kid off the floor, kind of thing, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
Super. But sometimes all you need is that to lose weight. You actually don't even need cardio.
Yeah, I don't do any cardio now. My cardio is 10 minutes to warm up, just to get the body moving, and then I'm doing 2 or 3 warm-up sets, and then maybe 1 or 2 working sets.
I love that.
Yeah,
really.
yeah.
Okay. We have another problem in the gym all the time, right? Oh my God, this crowd with this working set thing. I got to do 10 working sets, German volume training all day long, and for you to finish 10 sets the same as the first, the level of intensity shit.
Yeah.
Like there's just no way. So what they're not really looking for that progressive overload. They're looking for it all in volume. If that was the case, everybody would spend 11 hours in the gym, specifically professional bodybuilders.
Right.
Because they need to do one more set every week.
They forget about this key thing called recovery. You don't grow in the gym. You grow when you're out of the gym sleeping.
Well, I think that's part one. I also think it's intensity.
Yeah. Mind muscle connection, of course.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, but when I say intensity, that I progress the body to a different point. It's like kind of, I'm a lump of coal, right?
Right.
And I need to raise the heat every time to make it a diamond, right?
Yeah.
So how am I gonna polish that diamond? I need to raise the heat one more time. So are we really cooking like that or not?
Right.
And I don't think, and it's brief durations, and then I need to spend that whole time recovering.
Yeah.
And I think they don't really understand the quality of sets. So when you said two to three workings, one to two you said.
It depends on the body part. It's funny because like specific technology kind of makes this easier, and I'll tell you. So as I started getting more into health and wellness, and that's what I'm searching for and looking for, we're targeted, right? That now the algorithm knows exactly what they're looking for. So I started following, science-based and non-science-based and the old school bodylifters. I'm like, and I started learning about like the warm-up set versus a working set. So I'm just trying to get the muscle, I'm trying to get the blood flow into the muscle. And once I feel like I've got it there sufficiently, I may not do that many starting warm sets, because once I'm warm, I'm going to go as heavy to the point where I want to get at least 8 really good reps where I'm taking it. By the time I get to my second or third working set, maybe 6 or 7 is max, but I'm pulling or pushing really, really hard to get there.
I like the progression almost to failure. My question becomes, why 8?
It could be anything. It's funny. Jay Cutler says, focus on 12.
Right, he'll say,
he always says,
he actually says 8 to 12. If you
Yes.
I think it's more like this, and the reason the 8 part started, or the 8 to 12, or any of that range is hypertrophy.
Yep.
Okay, so we're going to talk about time under tension.
Yep, time under tension.
Right. Okay. That said, I'm having a hard time believing you took your bench from 300 to 400 pounds and you didn't put any muscle on, even if you did singles your whole fucking life.
Yeah, of course.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So eventually, if you can put up that number, it's kind of going to show. I don't know what to tell you, but I think sometimes they're trying to keep off. There might be a weight class athlete that's trying to keep off extra hypertrophy, so they want to stay in the weight class range, and I get that part. The other part is the cross-sectional muscle. So when you said it depends on the body type, it also depends on the fiber type.
Yeah, I mean,
really the
way I work out a shoulder is not going to be the same way I work out my back. Much larger muscle group, right?
Well,
and heavier too.
The fiber type is different, where it's you have more type 1 in the upper back, right? And your chest and your shoulders will have more type 2. So the rep range needs to change because of that.
Yeah, and I'm also not a professional athlete, right? So some of the things I had to work past when I was younger in the weight room, I'm just trying to throw around as much weight as possible.
Right.
But now it's like when I first got back in the gym, I was trying to lift really heavy, and I'm like, that's not the goal here. The goal is to feel better. So I started really focusing more on my form. I started learning about the proper ways to work out, and then having someone like Derek, whose background is like NFL strength training, nutrition, he's like, you need a break. Then he started helping me with my grouping, my daily grouping, like do this and this, work out like this, and then he helped me progress to a point where now I knew he was giving me some basics, but the basics led me to more advanced things, which are going to eventually lead me to the body type that I want. So just going lighter, feeling the muscle contraction, getting the good pump, and then also same thing. Like I want to leave the gym feeling like I don't need to spend 2 hours in the gym. I can get a workout in 45 minutes.
I would agree. Yep. I tend to add on an extra 15 minutes of mobility. Flexibility. It's just something to prime your nervous system, prime the body. But if I can get the joints to flow through all the range of motions, chances are I'm going to recover a little better too, as well. Also, I'm going to move better. And I think people seem to go to the gym a lot nowadays and forget movement is medicine. Yeah. And that's movement in those patterns and that range of motion can increase everything over time, including quality of life.
Yeah, and I started doing sauna too. I do sauna 30 minutes 4 times a week, and I do it at night. So like my sleep has gotten so much better just by being in the sauna. I take a cold shower. I wish that my gym had a cold plunge, but it doesn't. So I do the hot. I do sauna 195 degrees, 30 minutes. I come home. A cold shower in the gym. I come home and I go to sleep. I'm in bed by 9:30, 10 o'clock. So because I get up at 6. So I need that 8 hours recovery. We talk about that. So and it's routine. That circadian rhythm. I wake up. up. I stand outside with my shoes off. I stare at the sun. People think I'm crazy. I'm like, but I feel amazing. So, I feel like that grounding and all that stuff like that, the breathing, it all helps.
I'm blessed to be in a facility that has cryotherapy.
Yeah.
So worth 3.5 minutes of my life every morning. So, but the mental clarity and the focus.
Yeah, it's a combination of things.
You could argue whether it's 300 or 600 calories it burns or whatever it is. I don't really care. That's not really what I'm after.
No, I don't do it for
I like
the calorie burn.
No, same here. I like it for the anti-inflammatory effect. But the most important is it focuses on my mind. Sometimes coffee doesn't even hit me like that.
It's funny that you say that.
Dopamine hit is insane.
It's funny.
I know the research says 300.
Yeah. Well, it's funny that you say that because, like, for me, like the 30 minutes in the sauna is like, that's like my time. Like my gym for me has become like, that's my place. My wife does not bother me there. She knows I'm there. So that's,
Okay.
But besides that, it's like, it becomes like, this is the place where I can be selfish. The gym is for me. The exercise is for me. I'm not doing this for anybody else. I mean, technically, I am kind of doing it for her, so I can there for her leg.
Right.
But it's really for me. And then I sit in the sauna, and I have my music on, or I'm watching a podcast, or I'm educating myself, and that is my time. And I love to sweat. So I feel it's just great all the way around.
There's something therapeutic about sweating. So
yes, 100%.
Is she not in the gym as well?
She does. Yeah. She. It's funny because I feel like I was brought to her to help her get. She struggled with her weight her entire life until she found someone like Derek is learning to pull those toxins and things from her body and getting her to a place where she is. So I introduced her to this guy. He's a trainer. He's down the street. He's his personal trainer. It's just her and him in his gym. She was doing it more, but once again, Derek's like, you probably don't need to work out that much because you're focused on weight loss and you're doing too much. So now she walks every day and she only works out with the trainer twice a week.
Okay.
But same thing for her. The walking for her is the mental clarity because she works all day long. She's on her phone and computer, walking outside in the sun or at night. It feels amazing for her.
And I'm guilty of this, so you understand. Working out 6 days a week, yeah, you don't need that.
Yeah.
Yes, I know I do it. Yes, I'm understanding it. I'm not that. For me, sometimes that's therapy.
Yes.
It's not really goal orientated. And a lot of times, and this is the part, I'll do wave loading of intensity so you understand. And I think I'm doing that so I can go to the gym 6 days a week.
Right.
Not just to play A, B, and C. And there's always a plan for what I'm doing, but I'm doing it to stay within that model. So one, I can get recovery, but two, the therapy that goes along with it.
I think everybody knows their body, right? You got to know your body. If you, it's like there are days where I like it's a gym. Just call it a gym day, and I just feel like I'm not. For me, it's just like I feel like if I push myself to go to the gym on a day where I shouldn't go because I'm not feeling it 100%, I'm not looking to hurt myself either.
Right.
So you have to know your body. If your body is telling you something, listen. If you need it for mental clarity and for feeling better, but you don't feel sore and you're getting the recovery, I mean, you look amazing. So you're not doing something. You're doing something right? So yeah. So it's a combination of things, right? You have to listen to your body and know yourself and know how far to push yourself without hurting yourself and gain all the results. Because otherwise, you can start to work negatively, which we're trying to avoid.
Let me ask you a couple questions. Sleep.
Yeah.
Did he go over sleep with you?
No, I think I've always known it was there. It's gotten easier, better, because I'm more routine, right? So the routine helps. Being thinner helps.
Clearly helps, yeah.
Yeah, I don't snore anymore, so my breathing is better.
Do you have sleep apnea?
No, I might have. Maybe I did,
Right.
but by the time I would have maybe gone to look to see if I did, I was already getting weight. I was down to weight. Yeah,
was down. Okay, super. Supplements.
Yeah, I definitely supplementate. I take there's a brand called Animal. They've been around for a long time. So they do an omega, which is a 3, 6, DHA, CLA. It's all the omegas.
Okay.
I take their vitamin pack, which has got like 83. It's got iron and thiamine. It's got all the things that you want in it as a multivitamin.
So omega-3 mineral, the fats.
Yeah. I do.
Okay,
I do NAD.
You do NAD?
Yeah,
Okay.
I do magnesium.
Now, when you do NAD, you're doing it IV or you're
I'm just taking
NMN?
Yeah, no, not NMN, just a regular NAD, nicotinamine. I'm not saying it right, but the precursor to the NAD as a vitamin supplement. I do creatine, and now I was originally just doing the 5 milligrams of creatine, and I realized that's not enough. So now for mind clarity and things like that, I'm doing probably closer to 15 to 20 milligrams every day.
Ladies and gentlemen, previously all the research was done with 5 grams. So everybody would say 5 grams, and they'd say ideal was 2.5 pre, 2.5 post. And if you're a little lazy and can only take it one time, you take it 5 grams post. Now the research is pointing towards 0.3 grams per kilogram.
Yeah.
Right? So a guy, if you're going to be 225 pounds, 7.5 grams.
Yeah.
And if you're going to be 250, you could almost take as much as 10 grams.
Yeah, I average probably closer to 10 grams a day. I was trying to do a little bit more, but I'm not trying to go crazy because it also screw with your stomach.
I was going to ask you any GI issues.
No, I don't have any GI issues.
No, okay.
And I also do, obviously, I do BCAAs and EAAs. I do a probiotic, and I do vitamin D with the K3.
With the K3, okay.
The K2, sorry, D3 with K2. Yeah, K2. Yeah.
No, D3 with K2.
Yeah.
Okay. The absorption issue. You won't absorb D2 correctly, and everybody's screwing that up, and I don't know why they'd even do that. And then D3, I need a K2. I need a cascade. We always talk about.
Well, you need the delivery system.
Well,
so you take the vitamin D without the delivery system.
It's exactly ridiculous, right? Yeah. Exactly. We'll talk about all the time women with osteoporosis, right? And especially that perimenopausal state we talk about, right? And they'll come out with osteopenia and osteoporosis, and the physician is suggesting shotgun and 12,000 milligrams of calcium, right? And the issue becomes they don't absorb the calcium.
No D3.
No D3, no K2, no magnesium.
Yeah.
Right? So now all of a sudden I don't have a cascade and it ends up in the bloodstream, and then you wonder why 55 and older menopausal women dying of heart attacks first.
Yes, calcium plaque.
Calcification, yes, left ventricle, correct, right. So we kind of go from there. What's your daily routine look like now?
I'll go through the whole thing. So I get up at 6, go to the bathroom. Just this part of it.
It is what it is.
It is what it is.
Go ahead.
I make breakfast. While I'm making breakfast and eating breakfast, I'm preparing my snacks, my lunch for the day. I make dinner when I come home. Unless I know I'm not going to be at home, then I'm preparing my dinner as well. I prep already. So like, I'm really just pulling stuff out of the refrigerator, and then I got to make a salad. I got to have my vegetable. I got to cook my potato. But I'm eating my breakfast at the same time.
Right.
I'm in the office by 8. I'm eating my first snack. So breakfast at 6. I'm eating my first snack at 9. I eat my second snack at like 10:30. Unless I'm not hungry, I don't eat that. My lunch is at 11:30, 12. I eat my next snack at 2:30. I eat my next snack at 4. Unless I'm not hungry, then I don't eat it, but that's usually not the case. And then I'm eating dinner between 5:30 and 6. I'm in the gym by 6:15. Work out for an hour, sauna for half an hour. I'm home by 8:15. People are like, don't you watch TV? I'm like, who the hell has time for that?
Yeah,
no time for television. Maybe I have time in the sauna. My 30 minutes in the sauna, right? Yeah. I come home, I come home. I try to spend a little time with my wife, and then I'm sleeping. And I repeat. Weekends are a little bit less flexible. Funny though, my wife makes fun of me. On the weekends, I still get up at 6. I still eat breakfast. But guess what I do after I eat breakfast? I go back to sleep.
Go back to sleep. That's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
How long have you kept the weight off for?
We're going on, I don't know, like 3 years.
3 years.
Yeah.
Okay. So beautiful thing. So it's been sustainable for you.
Yeah. Well, initially, when I lost weight, it wasn't quite as long. It was progressively higher, and then I kind of maintained like a 250, 270 weight, and now like this is kind of where I think I'm gonna. Yeah, I've never been.
We talked about putting on muscle to get back to 220.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever. I think the last time I weighed 200 might have been a freshman in high school. I mean, I wear a large shirt. Like I never thought I'd wear a large shirt.
Yeah. What would you say to people struggling to get on the wagon?
I think you have to get your mind right. I think you also need to recognize that the system is rigged. It's rigged against you. The big companies out there want nothing more for you to consume because it makes them more and more money. The foods have less and less nutrients. They have more and more ingredients. The body doesn't recognize it. So at some point, first step is recognizing, okay, maybe just changing small things. So like I talk with Daniel about like, he wants to lose, it's funny, we call it the Boca 20, where you move to the suburbs, you have kids, you gain 20 pounds.
Right.
Okay. You want to slowly start taking that off. It's like, well, make a diary. That's what I started with. I started making a diary of the things that I was eating and going, well, I could definitely change that. So you don't think it took you this long to put on the weight. It's not going to happen overnight.
The reason I'm laughing, I have a 7-year-old, and it's funny because I had dropped about 15 pounds recently, and everybody asks, what are you doing different? And I'm like, I'm not finishing my kids' food.
Yeah.
No, seriously.
It's little things.
I walked around with a diary for 3 days. Yeah, this doesn't make sense. What the fuck's going on? So I write down everything, and I realize, once you write down everything you put in your mouth for a 3-day stretch, you realize
everything.
I've been finishing fucking food or tasting this or doing that the whole time. And the recognition was like, whoa, Yeah, I can't do that.
And people don't realize, like, they're going, oh, I had this for breakfast, I had this for lunch, and this, but what about that? Oh, I take that little potato chip over here.
Yeah,
Oh, I had
crazy.
a soda over here.
And I think it's the worst. And here's the thing, is that it also put an emphasis, and this is a benefit for her. She doesn't see it that way yet, but on her ordering better food when we're out, or even what she wants to have at home, right? So I'm now surrounding it with better options for her, just in case I go to finish that.
Right.
Listen, she doesn't finish anything.
Yeah.
I think the biggest sin in the world is to waste food.
Yeah.
And okay, then you're just gonna have to order better.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Yeah, it's funny. I've always been a member of the Clean Plate Society.
It kind of trickles down, and that was the next part I wanted to get to. You brought up the wife support. Listen, when you want to change and want a lifestyle change, you might have to change the people around you to succeed.
It definitely will help. It definitely helps.
Yeah. A lot of times you're a product of the 5 people you spend the most time with.
Yes.
So she's the one you probably spend the most time with in life.
Yes.
So my guess is once she started to make the change, it was a lot easier for you to make a change.
Well, considering that the food groups we eat are very similar. So like when I'm prepping chicken, or I'm prepping beef, or I'm prepping turkey, she eats those things. I'm prepping broccoli and green beans, and she eats those things. So it just makes it easier, not making 2 separate things.
Right, I would agree on top. Well, that's part easier, but it's also part we're sharing together. It's called
and like she's also the same thing. Like she's like, oh, she goes, babe, can you grab me an apple and this for my snack? Right. So we have our little lunch bag, like my snacks are her snacks, and I'm carrying it for her. And it's those things, right? Because when I first did this journey, the girl that I was with was like this. And she ate whatever the hell she wanted, and I was just on that weight loss journey by myself, and she's just eating, I'm watching her eat Burger King and whatever the hell she wants.
It doesn't always, for a lot of people, seem supportive.
Yeah.
But you're right about having your mind right the first time. You're gonna have to overcome obstacles at some point.
Yeah, recognizing the food problem, the food addiction for me was the biggest problem. Realizing that I was addicted to the types of foods that I was eating, and that I just wanted to eat more and more of them. It's like one thing, good example is like I could eat a whole thing of Oreos. I try eating 6 eggs, 6 whole eggs.
The one give 6 apples. I've heard about people having 9 donuts before, but
no,
I never
it's impossible.
6. The micronutrition would fill you up at 3.
Yeah, that's
and
is that it? So starting to edit like things like, okay, do you drink sodas? Okay, try drinking a healthier soda, and then turning from healthy soda to a water, because that's obviously the best thing you could drink. Then going from eating potato chips to eating fruits and vegetables. Little things, right? You got to make the baby steps, because once you start to recognize how you start to feel by making those changes, I always say motivation is what got you to do it. Discipline is what builds the block. So don't chase the motivation, chase the discipline, because the discipline is what's going to build your home. When you're in a home and you got a roof on top, motivation isn't going to do that. You doing it every day, building blocks, discipline.
And I'm guilty of this. I will have people step on the scale daily as data.
I get on the scale every day.
Yeah, okay. Super. Sometimes, and this is like in any project, right? It might take 100 days for anybody to collapse for you. So you're looking for an inch and an inch and an inch, right? You may not get that inch, and then you're gonna get 4 inches the 5th day.
Right. Yeah.
Sometimes people mentally have to be prepared for that.
There's something I like to say called "Don't quit before the magic happens."
That's okay. I love that.
Yeah, don't quit before the magic happens, because it's like so you pay all this money. You go see David Copperfield or another magician you want. Do you leave before he shows you? Da-da! No, you stay to the end.
Yeah.
So don't leave early. You wouldn't go to a movie and not watch the ending.
Right.
So, if you're going to put in the time, don't quit. Don't leave before the ending.
I would agree.
Yeah.
I would agree. Tell me one other thing, and I'm gonna give you the opportunity for this one, because from what I understand, you have a podcast.
Yeah.
I actually got a chance to enjoy it the other day. Can you tell me a little how that started?
Sure. So, it goes back further. My dad, I've always wanted to be in broadcasting. I like to talk. Maybe you figured it out a little bit. I have a gift for gab. My dad was also really into it as a child. He worked as a cameraman for the New York Mets and things like that. So it's technically in my blood. So Daniel comes to me one day and he says, I'm thinking about starting a podcast. I'm like, I'm in. I want to do it. I don't care. I want to do it. It'd be a lot of fun. And that's kind of where it started. And it started with us just with my cell phone, sitting on Daniel's couch with his brother, and just us talking about things. And then it escalated. Well, Daniel, don't you have an office space? We went to the office space and we like, oh, we need microphones. Oh, we need a camera. Oh, we need lights. And all of a sudden we kind of have a studio. I'm like, and then coming up with the name was initially, a challenge. And I was just like, Dave Chappelle does this thing where he talks about what's his name, Rick James on his couch, and he's like, "Fuck your couch." He's like, "Yeah," and I'm like, and I sent that clip to Daniel. And I'm like, "Oh, that'd be kind of a funny name for the show, like F your couch." And I'm like, and he's like, then he was like, "Well, we're like F your feelings," and I'm like, "Oh, F your feelings for middle-aged men with modern problems." Now, we don't do the middle-aged men with modern problems, but the show is called F Your Feelings, not because we don't care,
right?
But because you should work through life and not caring what other people think. Right. F their feelings, right? Right. Mm-hmm. We're going to give you honest, authentic opinions about whatever we feel like, whatever topics are coming up. It could be about funny stories about us. It could be funny stories that we've seen all day. It could be things that annoy us. And these are just our opinions. And if you have stories that you want to share, we want to hear them.
I sometimes say that certain people are motivated to reach goals because they're too busy being a victim.
Yeah.
And rather than, why don't we answer the criticism? Yeah. Why don't we take the next step? Why don't we respond? Why don't we do something better to change the narrative? It's the same kind of thing. I love it, but I really love the name.
Yeah, it's funny because it's just kind of taking on a life of its own. And if you want to check us out, you can go to our website, fyurfeelingspod.com, or you can go to our YouTube channel or Spotify or Apple, wherever podcasts are found. You can find us. But if you want to see our videos, go to our website. All of our content is on the website.
One of the things, since I have you here, are you a part of the men's group?
Yeah, I am. I never thought I'd be a part of it. Daniel invited me to go, and I went once, and I was like, at first I was kind of like, I don't know if this is for me. And then I started realizing, like, you know what I was never a part of was like a fraternity. Like, I was talking to my wife, she's like, it kind of sounds like a fraternity. And I'm like, it kind of is, like guys helping guys and being there for each other, and just having a place to go and just talk about things that maybe you can't talk about with others, and being there for other people. I'm like, that's kind of me. Like, I'm a positive person. I want to help others. I want to talk to others and impart things that I've learned with them and learn what you have to offer. I'm like, this is great. And I just recently became a member. The
analogy I was given behind the scenes with what we're talking about earlier was you go to school, and I'm playing football, and there's 106 guys on a team, right? And you're in the facility for 3 hours with practice, an hour with study hall, you eat dinner together. Okay, I got 5 hours with these guys. I'm looking for girls as soon as I walk out the building.
Right.
The minute you graduate and leave all of that, you recognize, man, I missed the locker room. It's not, man, I loved coming out the tunnel. Please don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
It's the locker room you really missed.
Oh, it's the shenanigans.
And I don't really want to get into all that.
Yeah. No, I get it. Yeah.
But there was certain parts that just make and break you, right?
Yeah. Makes you stronger.
We got to do this better together. We got to take this, taking criticism, the jokes, the fun, you're a little less sensitive. It's the format of it, right?
Yeah.
You grow with each other. Right. And I think that's something missing with men with mental health, is the growth factor. And to grow with people, having success, going over problems together, seeing, listen, instead of it's a victim therapy session, it's, why don't you do this better? Or can't you do this? Or can't you address it this way?
Right.
Or can't we work to do it better this? And I always said with the football culture, you put the tape on, the eye in the sky doesn't lie, right? So if you didn't step with the correct foot, or you weren't in sync on the cut, or you didn't, you didn't do your job, or you didn't get your blocking assignment right away, you can't tell us in the locker room you lit the place on fire or you balled out. They're going to address you right away.
Yeah,
right.
Going to call you out.
An accountability factor on top of that as well. So how do we, take it a step forward? Hey, you need to join us in the gym tomorrow. Or, hey, we need to eat a little bit better. Or, hey, you need to back off and get some sleep. Or, hey, listen, you need to do this for your business. Or, are you really putting the effort here? Or, what'd you do with the kids the other day? Right. And it trickles down all the way through life. And are you applying that or not applying that? So I'm a big fan, and really big fan of what you're doing, what you guys are doing with that.
And surrounding yourself with quality people, just in general in life. Forget the men's group.
Right.
So like when I was younger, I got into a little bit of trouble. My dad's like, you are who you associate yourself. You want to be trash, you associate yourself with trash.
Right.
You want to be something better, you find a better class of people. And the better class of people will uplift you. And this is no different. I don't know if you follow Mel Robbins. She's a female podcaster. She talks about how people in their 20s, men in their 20s, or even kids in their 20s, they don't know how to make friends because, you know, once you're in school, once that's gone and you don't have that daily routine.
You don't know the approach to grab people,
right?
To get to know people.
So like you said, you miss certain things, and like having someone be able to tell you honestly, hey, you know what? You don't look so good. You're fat. Mm-hmm. Like, it's not an easy thing to hear, but you know, someone's telling you that is a good person. Someone telling you, hey, you're screwing up. You're being something that you shouldn't be. Right. Having someone that is close to you being able to tell you, hey, like you need to make a change. Something is, because, you know, one of the things you asked me about, they have is, it's easier to hear from somebody maybe not so close. And I'll give you an example. My mom was dating a gentleman named Stanley. Stanley said to me, pulled me aside. He goes, look, you know, your mom is worried about you. She's worried about you. You're getting really, I want to help. And he wanted to help me. This is a man in his 60s, wanted to help me. And I'm like, if this man is coming to me at 60 years old going, you know, that was also part of the eye opener. Like, you know, at some point, something's got to change, right? Or I'm going to be dead.
His comfort zone to find it, we're good to go.
Yeah. So I think that your closest friends are the ones that are willing to tell you the truth. They're willing to be upfront with you. They're willing to tell you the uncomfortable things that you don't want to hear, and they're going to be the ones that you can count on the most. They're also going to be the ones that make fun of you the most. Right?
We got introduced by a gentleman, and the gentleman per se, I have the show because of the gentleman. Right. Because he walked in uncomfortable, buys a ton of sessions, and says, "Listen, your social media sucks. Can I stop seeing you squat? Can I see your face?" So we go into all these programs and all these campaigns. And then he pulls me into another thing. Can you talk like this? Can we do this? Can we update this? Can you update your system that? Can you do this? And I gotta be honest, it'd been a long time since I'd seen that. And I know he's pirating all these groups, particularly men's groups right now.
Yeah.
And the reason they get in time from this and what it is I really think society needs that right now. Listen, for me, I'll answer the criticism. I want to look at it every day, right? It's like we talked about the football thing. Put the tape on.
Yeah.
Right? I want to put the tape on. You gotta do this better. Gotta do that better. Can we take the criticism from that? Yeah. But I think that's so much needed in our society currently. And I think it would save a lot of people going in the wrong direction. The other thing is, I think you're a product of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Okay? Yeah. And if they're not driven forward, somebody's holding you back.
I agree. 100%.
Okay. Eric, tell the audience where they can find you.
They can find me living at home in Boca, enjoying myself. But realistically, if you really want to connect with me, go to the website, fyourfeelingspod.com. There's a place where you can actually submit your stories. If you like what I have to say, you don't like what I have to say, that's okay. You're allowed to have an opinion. Go submit a story. We want to hear your thoughts and opinions. Like and subscribe to all of our content. Follow me. And, you know, we're always going to be doing some new things, and we're open to hearing what other people have to say because, you know, it's not just how I move through the world, but it's how we move through the world together.
Ladies and gentlemen, there's a thing I want you to understand. Even when I got sick, I remember getting diagnosed, and my mom flew down to come see a neurologist with me. And I'll always remember, I can't keep an eye open. I'm not breathing that great, and I have to puff to speak, like really just inhale air. And I remember saying, he's telling her, you know, he'll never be the same. And I'm like, yo, you got this all wrong. I'm the one. And he's like, I'm sorry? I'm the one. And I have to puff and inhale air 3 times to get that out. And he said, I'm sorry, I'm not following. I said, you've heard of 1 in a million? He said, yes, I'm the one. If you don't change your mindset, you will accomplish nothing. Okay? I tell the same story. I got off a ventilator. When I got off the ventilator, I always remember this. I never dealt with a mental trauma before. The PTSD was insane. I remember crying my eyes out every day. And about the 3rd day, I walked down and asked somebody taking care of me, and I asked, you ever think I'll get better? And he said, you know, I think you could be better by Thursday. And I'm thinking, this motherfucker needs to be drug tested on the spot. So I go in the other room, and there's a girl there who I'm seeing at the time, and she says to me, and I say the same question to her. She's like, I've seen you turn around so fast, you'll be fine by next week. And I walk around for an hour mad. And then I realized something. I created this culture. You sit at the head of the table. So it's a culture you create and what you rise to. Okay? So it's a mindset from the start. That day I walked in a room. I couldn't walk, so I used the walker to get in the room. I said, I'm getting better today. So I sat on the wall for 30 seconds and I crashed. And they all come running in. And I'm screaming, get the fuck out. And the reason I'm screaming that is I'm gonna do 2 more of those and I'm gonna climb the wall and get back up. So I wall sit for another 30 seconds. And I finished the 3 of them that I said, because I tell everybody everything good in life happens in 3s. And when I look at the content and look at what that means, I realized, yo, I did it. Can I just go 35 tomorrow? Okay, 12 weeks later, I'm squatting 375. And you're gonna ask, well, how does that happen? How does that go like this? It's the work every day, but it's not just the work every day. It's what's the goal? Can I hit the checkpoint? I wasn't thinking about 375 12 weeks in advance. I'm thinking about 40 seconds the next day. So my advice to you is win the day. When he talks about his preparation and where he went from there, he talks about, I'm prepared for today and I prepared this for tomorrow and I did this for this and I did this for my wife and we shared an A, B, and C and here we go. Yo, have a plan, have an agenda for the day. You are not getting goals unless you write down goals, or at least, even if you don't write them down, can you tell me what they are? Can you say them radically every day? I'm accomplishing A, B, C, D, and E. It's not gonna get me here yet, but I just wanna get to the next stage, right? Some of you are so, this is 6 years down the road, this is 3 years down the road. Yo, I write plans for 12 weeks. You take a step forward and we ride and you figure it out. And I'm sorry, some of that's gonna be uncomfortable for a lot of people. You need to hear the truth from somebody. That said, have a great night and I hope you enjoyed.